Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Our chief guest, Professor Ish Sharma, Academic Chair in Ayurveda Medicine, University of Mauritius. Sister Mala, the coordinator of the Brahmakumaris at Tower, along with Sister Niti. Brother Anata, our senior brother, who will eagerly be one of our speakers. Brother Vijay Kumar Churaman, yoga instructor, another speaker. All yoga instructors, yoga teachers, and yoga students, as well as all brothers and sisters, our very special guests today. In the name of the Brahmakumaris, I extend a very, very, very warm welcome to all of you. Sabhi ka swagat hai, swagat hai, swagat hai, Bhagwan ke ghar. So a warm welcome in God's home, your home. We are here today to celebrate yoga. So a very happy yoga day to all of you. Our program will be in mixed language today. So it will be a large part in Creole because we want our message to go through. But a part of it will be equally in English as respect and regard to our chief guest who is from India. Alors, donc, bienvenue à nos centres Brahmakumari et avec un grand équerre, nous pouvons accueillir tout pour célébrer avec nous la journée internationale pour le yoga. Nous sommes présents ici parce que nous tous, il comprend l'importance de ce concept de la vie qui m'appelle le yoga. Yoga is today becoming more and more popular, welcomed into everyone's life. Of course, we know it originated in India, c'est quelque chose qui a commencé en Inde. Mais aujourd'hui, il finit répandre dans le monde entier. Grâce à ban défenseurs et défendeurs de yoga, c'est lui qui croit dans sa principe, dans sa discipline de yoga. So today, yoga is not only a set of physical disciplines, but we are becoming more and more aware that it is not just physical practices, but a holistic approach to a balanced life. C'est une approche holistique que non seulement nous pratiquons l'exercice physique qui est trop même important pour la santé aujourd'hui, mais la santé, il y a plusieurs niveaux, mental, social, relationnel, à tous les niveaux. Et le yoga, il dépasse tout ça là, il met nous en relation avec nous-mêmes à l'intérieur et nous-mêmes à l'extérieur. Le yoga, il relie nous avec la nature, les éléments. Il relie nous avec mon Dieu, l'être suprême. Et il relie nous avec l'univers en entier. Là, j'ai mis la valeur de ça, un mot qui s'appelle yoga. Let us become more and more aware of that one little word called yoga, which means connection, reunion. Pendant longtemps, il y a une break, une cassure entre le moi externe, le moi interne, le moi avec les autres, le moi avec la nature, les éléments, les saints éléments, le moi avec l'univers, le moi avec mon Dieu. Yoga est là pour réunir tout. Puis tout une haine, pour amener nous vers sa unicité là. Alors aujourd'hui, nous sommes là pour réfléchir, pour partager et pour rendre dans sa pratique de yoga dans ce forme holistique. Alors sans plus tarder, nous invitons nos guest speakers, nos invités de aujourd'hui pour faire l'ouverture sa symposium dans laquelle nous tous nous participons aujourd'hui. So I have great pleasure and feel honored to invite our guest speaker who will give us the keynote address to open today's symposium to celebrate the International Day for Yoga. And the international theme is Yoga for Humanity. Donc, la dimension de yoga devient de plus en plus large. So, I welcome Professor Ish Sharma. A few words about Professor. I've come into contact with Professor during the COVID time. So COVID has brought blessings, and it was online that we met a few times. And I think once I was invited at the embassy, some program on yoga and Ayurveda, and was there, but met you very briefly. And we feel, the Brahmakumaris feel very honored to have you at our center. A very warm welcome. You are academic chair in Ayurveda medicine at the University of Mauritius with a specialization in Panchkarma, detoxification against lifestyle diseases. You have been deputed by the Government of India, the Ministry of Ayush, to promote Ayurveda in Mauritius. And you've introduced Ayurveda and yoga in the primary school curriculum and trained already 550 health educators and school heads on this program on Ayush wellness. And you've done 40 plus TV and radio talks to bring the awareness of the value and importance of yoga and Ayurveda for our health and well-being. So my pleasure to invite you to address us.
Namaste and good morning to all. It's an honor to be here for the first time and looking forward to seeing you more often. And as was updated in the opening speech by Sister, yoga is like more than required or liked. This has become a necessity and we have to come to terms with it sooner or later. The so-called fast pace of life is taking its toll and we might not be knowing it. And we forget somehow to sit back and relax, and nothing serves this purpose better than yoga. Now, where did yoga come from? You all might be knowing. This is the pre-Vedic Rig Veda, the oldest existing wisdom book. Rig Veda, the first of the 4 Vedas, does mention about yoga. The 6 Indian philosophies contain yoga, and the yoga in the same term what we are meeting today, like International Day of Yoga or whatever postures etc. we practice, this was in the same context mentioned for the first time in Kat Upanishad. Out of Upanishads, in Kat Upanishad, Ish, Kain, Kat, etc. there are multiple Upanishads. Kat Upanishad was the first text who mentioned yoga in the same context what we practice today. The original Indian idea was to increase your concentration and to meditate. But the Western somehow picked up the easier component, some asanas, moving some limbs and calling it yoga. That is where yogasana became yoga for the Western perspective. Actually, out of Ashtanga yoga, asanas are just one, like yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So the third limb, asanas, this surely is not complete yoga, but surely is a very important component. Out of thousands of subtopics of Ashtanga yoga, even if one, the first one, can be practiced, then the world surely will be a much better place to live. And the first one under yam is ahimsa, non-violence. If we do not practice any asanas or breathing etc. and we take 1 out of 100 components, that is ahimsa, the whole world follows the golden principle of ahimsa, then surely the world would be a much better place and everyone would be much happier. The social responsibility comes before self as per yoga, yam niyam. So yam is your social responsibility, how do you behave with others. Then comes self-discipline. So surely it is service before self. The more we read about it, the more we appreciate that how effective on all parameters this is. Now, I being from the medical background and we seeing like hundreds of patients every day, some do ask or doubt in a way, what does it do if I sit like this, I'm breathing, I'm anyway breathing, then I'm moving my hands and my neck, etc. And you call it yoga, it would cause miracles. Does it medically do anything? Yes, there are like innumerable research articles which have established the medical efficacy of yoga and against everything. Not one disease, you name it and there is like a yoga beneficial against it. How does it work? How can sitting like this or like that and doing some stretching and some breathing, how can it be a panacea against everything? From common cold to COVID to cancer to arthritis, what does it do? What does it do is, the very basic definition of this yoga as per Gita is yogaschit vritti nirodha. We have to control our mind. Our mind is too wandering. It wants to go hayward. It doesn't want to focus. It wants so-called comforts and conveniences, so-called luxuries, which actually are not. Because downfall is easy. If I leave something from here, then downfall is very easy. But climbing up is difficult. So the basic definition to yoga is to tame your mind, to control your mind. Ayurveda says there are multiple urges we have in the body. And one set of such urges is called dharaniya vega. That is the urges which you need, suppress, manage, control and tame. And those are negative mental psychological urges. So by manasa vacha karmana, by your mind, by your vachan, that is by your speech and by your actions, you cannot be causing, thinking or doing any harm to anyone. Sometimes we believe he is such a straightforward person, he thinks bad about you and he mouths it, he says it. He's so clear-hearted. Ayurveda says, sorry, no, this is not the case. If I judge you and I feel like telling something which is not very healthy, which is not very pleasing, then because I have this negative idea for you, I feel something bad about you, should I mouth it? Should I say it? No. Very clearly, no, you should not say it. And whatever I'm speaking, nothing is my creation or my idea. Ayurveda says it. If you mouth something bad, it is going to snowball into something worse and worse. You have to reprocess, you have to rethink, why did I think bad about you? I have to be in your place, I have to reprocess my mind and I have to negate, neutralize that negativity. So, by man, vachan, karm, by your mind, by your voice and by your action, you cannot be expressing anything negative. And how does yoga, from yoga it became yoga, that is the gift of English language maybe. Ayurveda, then we call it Ayurveda. Yoga became yoga. How does it help? What happens is when we are under imaginary stressful situations or we are overthinking about any negative situation, maybe with your families, relationships, finances, health, your, any social component, if you are not happy, you are not at terms with any given situation, then we are producing more stress hormones. And the most important stress hormones are adrenaline, glucagon, growth hormone and thyroxine. And what do these four do? I should tell you, adrenaline is responsible for all heart diseases and free radical production. Glucagon is anti-insulin. It is bound to give you diabetes and related set of syndromes. Growth hormone is required for growth. When we are kid, then we are gaining height, etc. All comes from growth hormone, and everyday repair also comes from growth hormone, which regulates growth factors, and everyday wear and tear is controlled by growth hormone. But a lot of it would be giving you some growths which you do not require, and what we commonly know as cancers. So cancers can come from growth hormones. And the last is thyroxine. You all could be knowing this gland, thyroid. This sometimes hypofunctions, we call hypothyroidism, or it overfunctions, we call it hyperthyroidism. Now this gland produces thyroxine, and a lot of thyroxine would be producing a lot of free radicals in the body, a lot of hypermetabolism. Our basal metabolic rate, what we call BMR in short, would be heightened. You can imagine you are driving your car, but just you are pressing the accelerator more, or maybe the brake at the same time. So your car is going at the same speed, but the exhaust is more blacker and there is more smoke from your exhaust. You are creating more pollution because the metabolic rate of your car has increased because you are revving up too much. I hope you are understanding it. In the same manner, when we are stressed and we are producing more of thyroxine, then we produce more free radicals. Why do we age? Why do we die? He died because he was like 80, 90, 100, he died of old age. So why don't we live for like 400 years as is said to be the human life in Satyuga, or 300 years said to be the human life in Treta Yuga, or 200 years which was the human life in Dwapar Yuga. Kali Yuga has got 100 years. Why do we age? Why do we die? The modern research, after exploring for many years, has come to one basic research, and they call it free radical damage. We are aging, we are dying because of free radical damage, what we call oxidative stress. Many of you could have heard of the term oxidative stress or free radicals. Free radicals is a very common term. We are aging and we are dying because of free radical accumulation. We have got systems in place which take care of free radicals, which undo, which neutralize free radicals, like we have got SOD system in the body, it's a medical term. Where do they come from? The greatest source for free radicals is overeating and stress. If we do not overeat, any health condition, even if you are weak, your blood pressure is low, you cannot walk, your muscles are weak, under-eating is going to help you only. Even to put on weight, we means Ayurveda never recommends overeating. So the excessive food you are eating and the unnecessary stress you are harboring is actually producing a lot of free radicals which eventually lead to diseases and death. In yoga, when you are meditating, when you are focusing, you are actually shutting off many thoughts, good and bad, and you are focusing upon one thought. And eventually you can experience thoughtlessness, which is the ultimate bliss. And you can observe that, okay, right now I am thoughtless. Yes, I am thoughtless, still I am thoughtless, still no thought coming. The lesser thoughts you have, the lesser stress hormones you produce. So surely sometimes we believe, okay, why should I be doing it? I do not see any benefit. But then you should be knowing there are benefits and you have to keep on practicing it. And surely more than the physical benefits, it has got the psychological, mental benefits. When I came to Mauritius 18 months back, I did notice, unfortunately, Mauritius reports like a very huge prevalence of non-communicable diseases. This is 2 to 3 times higher than the global average. If you Google like diabetes in Mauritius versus the world, obesity in Mauritius versus the world, this is such a paradise island. It should not be having any disease. It's so beautiful. But unfortunately, it has got a huge burden of non-communicable diseases. And upon my arrival, like within a couple of months, I was fortunate to see Honorable Vice Prime Minister Ma'am, where I casually suggested her that we cannot be waiting to be reactive. If I tell you, okay, you do like X, Y, Z, to prevent against diabetes, many of us might not do. No, I am not a diabetic. Why should I do? I will go to the best doctor when I become a diabetic, unfortunately. That day I will go to the best doctor. Why today? This prevention, etc., this is not for me. I am so strong. I'm just 20, Now, reactive medicine is not helping the world. Going to the best doctor when you become a diabetic or when you become a heart patient, then reacting, going to the best doctor, unfortunately, is not helping. Non-communicable diseases have got no treatment. You can only manage them if you are fortunate. With so many toxic medicines, etc., you might manage your laboratory report to show your blood sugar or blood pressure or cholesterol. It could reflect to be like normal. But can it be cured? Is there a vaccine, surgery, injection, tablet, capsule, anything which can cure, which can eradicate a single NCD? There are 100 NCDs.